Your beloved virgin slime is here once again, and to be honest, I don't see him getting laid anytime soon. It all starts when the great magician, Koing, attacks its summoner, Leon, after bonding to the demon, Ifrit. Isn't that kinda dumb? Considering he summoned you, I am not even going to think too much about it. Leon sees it as an opportunity for Shizu to use her devastating power. Leon orders her to attack the demon, but Shizu feels reluctant. At least have him buy her dinner first. He then controls her with his eyes, and Shizu destroys Koing easily with her flame of fire. Guess things got heated up pretty fast. Impressed by this, Leon asks for her name, and Leon decides to call her Shizu, because Shizu just seems too long. Elsewhere, while wandering around in the bush, Shizu sees Hirano taking care of an orphaned fox monster. Shizu requests that they take care of the fox together, and she names it Shizu, which causes him to grow bigger. Soon after, Hirano tries to return to the castle with Shizu, and Shizu tells her that she can't. However, Hirano is all about girl power, like that will end well, and insists on going. On getting inside the castle, Shizu becomes aggressive to Leon, forcing Ifrit to take over Shizu's body, and she consumes Shizu and Hirano with her fire. Guess she can smell what the rock is cooking. Shizu comes back to her senses and realizes what she has done, which causes her to break down in tears in a very awkward position. Yeah, that position. Moments later, Shizu suddenly wakes up from her trance and smiles as she sees Eren sleeping. Ifrit tries to take over her body, but Shizu manages to put it under control. Although Ifrit clearly knows nothing about consents, later on, Rimuru meets with Shizu and tells her that she can stay in the village as long as she likes it, but Shizu rejects the offer, saying that she might cause them trouble if she stays. I can sense a fiery spark between them. Yeah, okay, no more fire puns. She tells him that her goal is to find her summoner, and Rimuru asks why, prompting her to give him the none of your business look. Yeah, that look. Eren also asks Shizu to come along with them back to Blummen, but Shizu rejects it and says that her last journey was made exceptional with her and her team. Eren is confused by her statement, and Shizu informs her that she has been around for decades. However, Eren believes she is joking because apparently it is a common joke from where she is from. While the ladies join the rest of the team, alongside Rimuru and Rigurd, Shizu gets possessed by Ifrit, and she could not control it this time. Guess the burning sensation finally got to her. Kaval recognizes her as Shizui Izawa, and the Conqueror of Flames, and the hero of the guild from about 50 years ago. Not looking very hero-like right now. Rimuru immediately orders Rigurd and Rigurd to evacuate everyone, and they leave, while Ifrit fully takes over Shizu's body, because that is a much better idea than stopping the demon from taking over her body. The adventurers then confirm that she's the Conqueror of Flame and deduce that they can't win against her in battle. Jesus Christ, she is hot. Get it? Because she's on fire. Yeah, never mind. Ifrit summons some salamanders to aid them in the battle, and Rimuru asks the adventurers to leave, but they refuse and decide to fight Ifrit as Shizu is one of them. Rimuru initially tries to talk Ifrit down, but it goes wrong as Ifrit attacks him, and he finds out that his water blade is ineffective against Ifrit, and this is not going well at all. Rimuru summons Ranga because he is about to get wrecked and plans to shoot the water in his belly toward the salamanders. The great sage analyzes the possibility and confirms that the water will cause an explosion of steam if it touches the salamanders. However, the force of the explosion will destroy the surrounding area. How is that a solution? Dumb! Anyhow, Eren uses the icicle lance technique against the salamanders, which kills the monster, and Rimuru figures out that magic attacks are effective against spirits. I wonder how he figured it out. Rimuru then asks Eren to fire the attack at him, and he ingests it for its analysis. Might be a slime, but he hits like a blob. After the analysis, Ranga gets Rimuru closer to the salamanders and shoots them with the icicle shotgun technique he has successfully reproduced. Meanwhile, one of the salamanders approaches the adventurers and breaks their shield, but Rimuru manages to destroy it. Obviously, he's not going to let his comrades die. He then asks Ranga to take them to safety while he fights Ifrit head on. Ifrit duplicates himself multiple times, but Rimuru takes the duplicates down with ease, using the icicle shotgun technique. Unknown to him, Ifrit is using the duplicates as a trap and unleashes the flat circle technique to consume him while everyone watches on. Rimuru initially thinks that it's going to be the end as a slime and starts to think of how he is going to die a virgin again. However, he soon notices that he isn't taking any damage, and the great sage then informs him that fire attacks are being automatically nullified due to thermal fluctuation resistance. I could really use one too. Ifrit thinks that he has destroyed Rimuru, and he's about to leave, but Rimuru restrains him using his silk thread. Ifrit is surprised by this and shoots his fireball again, but he does not affect Rimuru. Yeah, stupid. Using the predator's unique skill, Rimuru ingests Ifrit after separating him from Shizu. Inside Rimuru's belly, Ifrit tries to escape, but Valdora approaches him and informs him that he is no match for Rimuru. Valdora introduces himself, and we all know how this is going to end. In the next episode, Shizu gains consciousness and thanks Rimuru for saving her life. She is depressed as she almost killed someone that she cares about again and asks that she tell him her story. Sounds like my love life on a Tuesday morning. Even though Rimuru tells her to rest, she insists as she wants people to remember her story and reveals to Rimuru how she got possessed by Ifrit after she was summoned. Although she doesn't remember how it happened, still waiting for the story part, Shizu explains that she continued to serve Leon as his closest aide after the death of Pyrano. However, one day, Leon abandoned his castle due to war and left Shizu behind as the guard. Now that's what I call brave. The hero, yeah, that one, approaches the castle and Shizu starts a fight with her. Realizing that she can't beat her, Shizu surrenders and the hero asks her how she stayed alive. She believes Shizu's story as she is a Magen and takes her in. Don't know why, that sounds wrong. She also gave her the mask to boost her magic resistance and help suppress Ifrit, kinda like a pepper spray to keep the pervert away. Shizu learns about magic while journeying with her and figures out how to use Ifrit's power through magic to help others, which is why she became the Conqueror of Flames. And no, not just because, oh, she's hot. One day, the hero disappeared without reason. Yeah, kinda like my dad who was still searching for the milk store. And anyway, she leaves Shizu alone again. However, she decides to grow stronger and help those in need. But as she grows older, it starts becoming difficult for her to control Ifrit because the older you are, the harder it is to control your urges. She becomes scared that she might hurt someone she loves if she unleashes Ifrit and decides to become a teacher at a school in the kingdom of Ingracia. I wouldn't want to be her student and have a bad grade. It was much fun for her as she played with the students, and one of her students became the Grandmaster, the one responsible for overseeing all the guilds in every country. However, Shizu grows the thirst to search for her summoner to ask him some things about her urges, and that was how she met her mother. I mean, met Eren and her team. Afterward, Shizu requests that he swallow her just like he swallowed Ifrit, which surprises Rimuru, and that does not sound wrong at all. She says that she dislikes this world and would like to rest inside him. Kinda does, though. Rimuru asks her what she would like to ask Leon, her summoner, and she tells him that she would like to know if the students could be saved and allowed to return to their homes. Rimuru then promises to make sure that Leon hears her wishes. Shizu dies and becomes old, and Rimuru ingests her using predator skills. Inside his belly, Shizu reminisces about her mother and the hero in a wonderful dream made by Rimuru. Meanwhile, Cavil and the rest, alongside Rigard, arrive at Shizu's room, but are surprised to see an unclad lady with blue hair. At least Rimuru finally knows what that looks like. Emotional damage. The lady turns out to be Rimuru, even though he looks a lot like Shizu. This confuses the group, and Rimuru transforms into slime to clear their suspicion. They deduce that he swallowed Shizu, and he explains to them that it was her wish, and apologizes to them for not getting to bid her farewell. The adventurers decide to return to their guild, and give the report of everything they have found, including Shizu. However, they inform Rimuru that they won't give a report about the village to Fuse, and ask him to transform to his human form. This is going to cause some men to adjust their trousers. The three bid Shizu bye, and Eren hugs her, saying that she was like a big sister to her. Rimuru gives them parting gifts and beautiful outfits. He also introduces them to Kaijin and the three dwarf brothers, which excites the group as the artisans are popular. Elsewhere, an orc is seen traveling through the desert, but faints from lack of food and strength. A man named Gelmud approaches him and offers to give him a new name and food. The orc accepts, and Gelmud names him Geld, and tells him that he will take possession of the great forest of Jura and becomes the Orc of Disaster. Definitely not what I was expecting. Despite the initial setback caused by Ifrit's attack, the goblin village continues to rebuild, while Rigurd and the goblin lords under him worked out a system for ruling the village. Having nothing to do, Rimuru decides to test out the abilities he received after eating Ifrit and Shizu. He repairs Shizui's anti-magic mask that was destroyed during the Ifrit incident and transforms into a human using the mimic ability, although he quickly realizes that his senses are dulled as opposed to using magic sense. Never thought I would see the day we would be inferior to a slime. After confirming that he has the power to create a double, Rimuru spawns a clone and realizes that he does look like Shizui. He is happy to be a female as he can finally stop being a virgin, although that would be kind of weird. He does discover that he doesn't have a gender because slimes are androgynous. I didn't know that. He starts to wonder why he is able to see any black mist, and the great sage informs him that the black mist is produced occasionally because his magical power is trying to make up for the difference in mass. After listening to this information, Rimuru decides to create an adult female, but he quickly realizes that he does not have a chance with her and disintegrates the clone. Can't even get a date with himself. After Rigurd delivers the daily report, Rimuru orders him to prepare a feast as his sense of taste has returned and he becomes excited at the possibility. Afterward, Rimuru meets the hunting party and informs them that he will be joining in the feast tonight, which surprises the goblin. Rigurd informs Rimuru that a huge number of magical beasts are moving through the forest. Although Rimuru is worried about this, Rigurd assures him that the sudden change is due to the change in weather. Not satisfied with his answer, Rimuru summons Ranga and asks him to follow Rigurd's hunting team in order to protect them. Later on, Rimuru decides to try out some of his dangerous abilities in the cave while Veldora had been sealed, because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He decides to test out Shizui's unique skill, Degenerate, which allows her to fuse and separate skills in order to produce new skills more powerful than its predecessor. He then activates one of Shizui's powerful creations, the Black Flame, a skill that produces highly destructive black plasma, and Rimuru figures out that such destructive skill must be used carefully because of its power. Rimuru then deduces that the anti-magic mask suppresses magical power, thus making him appear human while he puts it on. Although Rimuru decides to try out another skill, he is interrupted by an emergency request for aid from Ranga, and he rushes to the forest to help them. He quickly discovers that the hunting party is under attack by a group of ogres after encountering an injured Gobata. It turns out most of the hunting party has been put to sleep by the ogre's princess. However, Ranga and Rigurd are unaffected. They fight the ogres, but suffer injuries, and Rimuru heals them. Rimuru decides to make peace with the ogres because his men did not sustain life-threatening injuries. But the leader of the ogres doesn't listen to him and accuses him of destroying their village. They state that his mask seems to make him seem suspicious as he hides his aura, and Rimuru is left with no other option than to fight. He instructs Ranga to capture the ogre princess while he focuses on incapacitating the others. Although the ogre believes he is a fool for believing he can take them all at once, however, this turns out to be the case. As Rimuru knocks out the hammer-wielding ogre with paralysis breath, he is attacked from behind by the female ogre with a giant chest, which Rimuru seems to notice. However, he manages to evade her attack and tie her up with sticky steel thread, completely incapacitating her. He is then attacked from behind by a sword-wielding ogre, but Rimuru breaks the sword using his body armor and knocks out the ogre with one punch, while Ranga manages to capture the princess. The elder amongst the ogres figures out where each of the monster's skills came from and informs his colleagues that Rimuru is very dangerous. After realizing that the elder ogre was able to analyze his abilities in a single glance, Rimuru tries to make peace once again, but the previous display of his abilities causes them to believe Rimuru is responsible for the destruction of their village. While he tries to prove his innocence, Elder Ogre sneaks up on him and tries to kill him, but Rimuru manages to evade the attack, losing an arm in the process, leaving him inadequate to handle the situation. However, an enraged Rimuru regenerates his arm and walks through the ogre's fire attack. Finally deciding to take things seriously, Rimuru removes his mask and unleashes a devastating giant mass of black flame and lightning. which surprises the ogre's princess. Despite witnessing Rimuru's power, the leader of the ogres decides to fight till the death. However, the princess gets in between them. She states that it is all a misunderstanding, as Rimuru can't be the leader of the ogre army that attacked them because he possesses so many powers. The ogres finally listen, prompting Rimuru to reabsorb his attack and reveal his true slime form. He tells them that the mask is memento before leading the group back to the village to figure out who is responsible for the attack. On their way back to the village, Rimuru discovers that ogres don't have names, which is weird. Do you think they would grow bigger too? I hope you enjoyed watching it. If this video is the most popular of our latest collection of recaps, we will make a part 4. Let us know what series you want us to recap next in the comments below.